with Joe Biden. All right, let me start with Biden, then we can flip to something else I want to talk about. I think is very, very important. So I thought the speech last night was fine. In fact, I thought it was really good, except when he called Ukraine Iran, but that happens. I mean, you're going to expect screw ups. But I thought the speech, the delivery, the tone, the anger, the fake anger at the end and the beginning, and that desire to bring everybody together, similar to his original address of the nation after he won the election, I thought it was fine. I don't think any of it's true, right? None of it's really real, or he's not plugged into reality, nor is anybody else down there in Washington for that matter. I found myself texting back and forth with, a half a dozen or so other folks, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that's just not true what he just said. And that right there is sort of a half-truth. And you've done nothing, really, to unify the country. In fact, you've continued to try to drive a wedge between folks for different issues. So it was, one thing after another. Again, the speech was fine, man. If I believed what he was saying, I'd be standing up going, that's great. Yeah, I thought that was really good. Yeah, I thought that, the beginning where he called out Russia and gave a pat on the back to the Ukrainians for fighting the fight, I thought that was great. And in the end, that last maybe 60 seconds, fantastic. You couldn't ask for more. Except I don't believe him. Sorry. I don't trust him. He's been in politics for 50 years. Name me one signature of piece of legislation or something significant that man has done. Not riding on Obama's coattails. And because I know folks are going to point to Obamacare. Well, it had nothing to do with Joe Biden. And then, of course, you can also make the argument that that was a catastrophe. So, what do you take away from last night? Well, okay. The economy is booming. I'm not sure the exact words he used for the economy, but the jobs are up and the economy is up. Guys, I can't afford stuff anymore. I don't know about you guys, but I go to the store now. I swear to God, this is 100% true. Now, listen. I'm not eating mud pies. I'm not saying that. But when I go to the store, you know what the first thing it is, the first table I go to? The table with the busted boxes and the broken can. I normally do that anyway because I like to feel like I'm getting a deal on some of that stuff. But and again, hand to God, I swear to God, I have passed up stuff that I normally would buy because it was too expensive. Have you? I bet you have. I bet you almost every single one of you have. Was that addressed last night? Did he give you details on that? And then to actually say that he's going to be the first president in X amount of years to cut the deficit in half? You spent $5 trillion last year. I hope you're going to cut the deficit. See, it's because they preach to sheep and uninformed folks. That's why. And that's why I don't believe him. And that's why I'm not on board. Because half of what you say is half truths. And fund the police? Are you freaking kidding me? I will give Biden credit for this. I never once heard Biden say defund the police. I did hear him call out the police over and over and over again and get on the bandwagon. But I could feel the rest of the progressives in the room want to throw up when he said it. But of course, it's an election year, so they've got to say that, right? Even the Democrats who are going to run for local offices, statewide offices, the Joe Courtneys of the world as well, the Dick Blumenthals of the world will say, we got to fund the police. Good God. But a year ago, they wanted to dismantle all police departments. When are you all going to wake up? Not you all. I know you all are going to wake up, but And then how many times have folks from the Democrat side of the aisle, progressives, said that, oh no, it's free of charge. Nah. You can go get your test kit, and you can get that Pfizer pill. If you got the COVID, Pfizer pill, take the pill. It's free. Nothing is free. Somebody is paying for that. I just find it absurd that there are people out there who are going to stand up and clap. It's free. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that, honey? It's free. Oh, my God. The pill is free. The shot is free. The vaccine is free. It's amazing. The tests, they're free. Because there's a test kit tree growing out behind, every house in America. Pfizer, out of the goodness of their heart, because blessed Pfizer, they're so fabulous. Out of the goodness of their heart, they just produce the pill and give it away. Unbelievable, man. That's what I have to say about everything right now. That's the kind of mood I'm in this morning. A big raspberry for everybody. Free, free, free. The flourishing economy. Togetherness. That's always my favorite with Biden. Guy's been lying to the American people for 47 plus years. And now here at the end stage of his life, when somehow he's been propped up as a puppet to be president, he wants unity. Amazing to me. Really is. And then, a bunch of the folks are going to buy it. And again, I'm telling you right now, the speech was good. I mean, it wasn't the best speech I've ever heard, but he did a good job. Way better than I thought he was going to do. And he was moving. He moved from subject to subject. He didn't linger on something. It was only an hour and 2 minutes. He hit on a lot of the topics, not all of them, but a lot of the topics folks I'm sure wanted to talk about. And by the way, that witch who is both not one, I've grown now to hate Nancy Pelosi more than just about anybody in Washington. She is such a flat phony. That clapping with the seal arms, the rubber arms, the plastic face, that big fat phony, she's the worst. Oh my God. I was having a texathon as it was going on with some folks. And it's just every time he would get to a point, she would stand up. Look at me! I'm clapping for the president. Look at me. Oh. Another one who's been in office for a bajillion years. But another thing, too, by the way. I understand I'm reaching that age. I'm 55-ish, right? Was there anybody in that room at the end that was under 80? Biden, Rosa DeLauro, all the justices. Who was the other half a dozen folks I was trying with? Pelosi. I mean, it's unbelievable. How old is Schumer? There's another snake. By the way, I'm pointing out the Democrats. There are plenty of Republican snakes, too, by the way. Just so you know. Just so you understand. Both sides of the aisle. Watching that garbage, you want to throw up. You want to throw up. And that leads me to one particular text I got. I'm not going to mention who it was. Good friend. Been on the show a couple different times. Not somebody who's searching the limelight. Just wants to help out. Sends me a text. He says, what do you think would happen if what's happening in Ukraine happened here? Do you think we'd fight side by side together? And I immediately typed no and almost sent it. And then I stopped. I said, wait, let me think about that for a second. We're literally fighting an invading army. Would we stand side by side? Would the progressive Democrats stand side by side with the hard right conservatives and everybody in between? And I thought, I said no at first. And then I feel like, there is a certain amount of blood that runs through my veins, that runs through your veins, that runs through all Americans' veins, that I think when push comes to really shove, we'd figure out a way to stand side by side. It's, I think, we're as far split and divided as we've probably been since the Civil War. And a lot of that, I think, is ratcheted by social media and this want for division. I think it's there are issues that are out there that are infinitely solvable that are not solved because they're talking points on both sides. But it's an interesting question that I pose to you. Maybe I'll pose to a few of our guests today. Do you think if this was happening here, we would show the same kind of courage and fight and desire to protect the country, the United States, as the Ukrainians are showing? Do you think we still have that in us? I mean, I'm gonna come down on the side of yes.